They extended their driveway over the property line and smirked. Nothing you can do about it now. So I called the city and had it officially marked as my property. The day they got a letter saying they couldn't use their own driveway anymore, they collapsed, wailing, "This is a nightmare. I never thought a simple patch of grass could lead to such a mess. But here I am, sharing how my neighbor's bold move turned our quiet street into a battleground." It started on a chilly morning in Columbus, Ohio. Leaves were falling, and the air smelled like winter was coming. I was sipping my coffee when I noticed some workers next door. Curious, I walked over. "Morning," I said to my neighbor, Mr. Caldwell. "What's going on?" He grinned. "Extending my driveway. Got a new car coming." I looked at the construction and frowned. "Isn't that over the property line?" He shrugged. "Just a bit. Nothing you can do about it now." His words stung. I decided to check my property records. That evening, I found my deed and called a surveyor. A week later, the results were clear. His driveway was 2 feet into my yard. Armed with this, I approached Mr. Caldwell. "I had a survey done," I said, handing him the papers. "Your driveway's on my property." He barely glanced at them. Like I said, nothing you can do. Frustrated, I contacted the city. They reviewed the survey and sent Mr. Caldwell a notice. His driveway was illegal and had to be removed. A few days later, I saw him pacing with the letter. Spotting me, he stormed over. "This is a nightmare," he shouted. "You can't do this." I stayed calm. "It's the law." Weeks passed, and workers came to tear up the new driveway. Mr. Caldwell avoided me, but I felt his anger. One evening, as I watered my plants, he approached, looking defeated. "Sorry for the trouble," he said. "I shouldn't have overstepped." I nodded. Boundaries exist for a reason. From then on, things were more civil between us. We both learned the importance of respect and communication. Things stayed quiet for a while after that. Too quiet. I thought maybe Mr. Caldwell had learned his lesson. Maybe we'd just move on and keep to ourselves. But I was wrong. One morning, I stepped out to get the mail and saw something new. Caldwell had installed a giant metal shed, right up against the edge of the property line. Not 1 inch over, but just enough to make a statement. It was ugly. Shiny aluminum, slanted roof, no windows. It stuck out like a sore thumb. And he had it placed directly in view of my kitchen window. Okay, fine. Technically legal, but clearly a move to get under my skin. I ignored it. Tried to stay focused on my own stuff. Then the lights came. Bright floodlights mounted on the side of his new shed. They turned on automatically every evening and blasted light right into my house. It lit up my living room like a gas station at 3 a.m. I went over to talk to him. I stayed calm. I knocked. He opened the door but didn't say anything. "Hey, those lights, can you angle them down a bit? They shine straight into my windows." He looked past me into the distance. Didn't make eye contact. "They're motion lights," he said. "They stay on for safety." "They come on every night, like clockwork," I replied. "Nobody's moving around out here." He just smirked. "I'll think about it." Slammed the door in my face. So I called the city again. Turns out they had ordinances about light pollution. An inspector came out and a week later, Caldwell had to adjust the lights. He aimed them lower, but by then it was clear we were at war. He started mowing the strip of grass between our houses right up to the edge of my property. Too close. Sometimes I'd catch him letting his mower spin gravel toward my windows. He even left his trash bins right up against my fence, stinking in the summer heat. Then one day I noticed something new. A bunch of gravel had been dumped near the front of his yard, right on the line again. I waited watching. Sure enough, the next day I caught a contractor marking out a rectangle. "What's this for?" I asked. "New walkway," he said. "We're paving this strip here." I immediately checked the survey markers. He was again trying to use a bit of my land, maybe 6 inches, maybe a foot. Enough to say it was a mistake if caught, but too much to ignore. I took photos. Called the city. Again. This time it got serious. A code enforcement officer came out and issued a stop work order. The crew left. The gravel sat there for weeks like a scar on the lawn. Then came the next twist. 2 weeks later, I came home to find someone had put up a tall privacy fence. Not on the property line. On my side. I couldn't believe it. Caldwell had actually built the fence on my land. That was it. I contacted a lawyer. We started filing paperwork to reclaim the encroached space officially and legally. This time, I wasn't just reporting it. I was pursuing legal ownership through a quiet title action. A few $100s in legal fees, some time, and some patience. That's when the real panic set in. Caldwell got the notice from my lawyer. I watched from my window as he opened it. He read it once, then again. His knees buckled, and he sat down right there on the grass. Later that night, I heard yelling from his house. Something was crashing inside. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. But I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. After Caldwell got that letter from my lawyer, everything got quiet again. Like the calm before a storm. He didn't talk to me. Didn't come out much either. The lights stayed off. The mower stayed in the shed. That giant privacy fence? Still there, but now leaning slightly from where the soil had shifted under it. Looked like his bad karma was catching up. Then one morning I saw a car I didn't recognize parked in front of his house. A shiny black Mercedes. Out stepped a woman in a sharp suit and heels that sank into his front lawn. She was on her phone, pacing back and forth. Caldwell came out, red in the face, gesturing wildly. They argued for maybe 10 minutes. Then she handed him a folder, got in the car, and drove off. That night, he put up a "for sale by owner" sign. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Maybe he was just tired of the drama. Maybe the legal stuff scared him. Or maybe, as I found out later, he had way bigger problems. Turns out, Caldwell had been in financial trouble for a while. He'd maxed out some credit lines during the driveway build, assuming he'd get a quick refinance on his mortgage. But with the property dispute now on record, the bank flagged his home as a legal risk. No refi. And that metal shed? Bought on credit. The privacy fence? Paid for by a contractor who hadn't been paid yet, and was now suing. I only knew because I started getting letters too. Subpoenas, even. Contractors trying to find out exactly where my property began and ended. I handed everything off to my lawyer. But the mess was unraveling fast. One day, a tow truck showed up and hauled away his second car. Repossession. Then the neighborhood gossip got real. A neighbor from 2 streets over, a woman named Clarice, stopped me one afternoon. "You know the Caldwell guy?" she asked. "He's got 3 liens on his house now. Word is, he owes money all over town. Even stiffed a landscaper for $6,000. I just nodded. Honestly, I was numb to it by then. But the twist that really floored me came 2 weeks later. I got a call from the city records office. They were processing the quiet title action when they found something strange. Caldwell's house was sitting slightly over the property line. Not by much. Maybe 2 or 3 inches on one corner of the foundation. Something nobody caught until now. Technically, a corner of his actual house was on my land. I asked the city rep, "What does that mean?" She sighed. "If it holds up under review, you could petition for forced removal or a compensation agreement." So now I had a choice. Push this thing all the way or let it go. And honestly, I hadn't decided yet. The man had made my life hell for over a year. Lied, smirked, invaded my land, and weaponized his property like it was a game. But now he was unraveling. His finances, his home, even his reputation in the neighborhood. All crashing. And I still had one final card in my hand. But I didn't play it. Not yet. Because deep down I knew Caldwell still had one move left. And it was coming. About a month after the city called me, things got strange. First, Caldwell stopped leaving his house at all. No lights on at night. No sound. No more yelling. Just silence. Then I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "Think you've won? This isn't over." No name. Just that. Typed. I showed it to my lawyer. He said it was probably nothing. But it got in my head. I started watching the house. Lights flickered sometimes like someone was there. But I never saw Caldwell. His trash didn't go out. Mail piled up. Then, one day, I saw someone in the backyard. Just standing there, near the edge of my fence. I went out. "Hey!" They disappeared behind the shed. I called the police. When they came, they found Caldwell. He wasn't dead. He was sleeping in the shed. No heat, no lights. The house had been foreclosed, and he hadn't left. Just stayed. Out of sight. probably because of shame or pride or both. The officers told him he had to go. He begged, cried, screamed. It was the first time I saw him really break. He looked nothing like the man who once smirked at me and said, "Nothing you can do about it now." The house was auctioned off a week later. And here's where my part takes a turn. The new owners? A couple in their early 30s. Nice folks. I introduced myself. Told them a little about the property line, just to be safe. They were understanding. We even had coffee a few times. But then, as they started cleaning up, they found something buried near the back, concrete footings, old markers, debris from that first illegal driveway. And they asked me a question I didn't expect. Why didn't you just talk it out? I paused. I tried, I said. But they asked again, did you really try? Or did you just want to win? That question stayed with me. Because here's the truth, I didn't need to push so hard. I could have made a deal with Caldwell early on. Could have offered to split the land or lease the part of the yard for a small fee. But his smug face, his tone, it set me off. I wanted to bury him in paperwork. I wanted him to suffer the way he made me suffer. And he did. But now? Now I walk past that empty shed and feel nothing. No pride. No victory. Just a long, ugly memory. I won the battle. Got my land back. Got the last word. But part of me wonders if I lost something too. Because in the end, we both made this worse. And revenge, once it starts, doesn't really stop. It just finds new faces. New fences. New battles. And someone always ends up standing in the ruins, wondering if it was worth it.